Seekers are live.
Yes, it's tonight, and it's going to Sunday. And without further ado, there's Terry and Jackie and Marcus. There we are. So, welcome Steve Essex, and welcome Brian, and welcome someone else, which I can't see. Right, okay, fair enough.
Borders Drone Seekers, Backpack. Who's Backpack?
Yeah, who's back?
Oh, it's Jackie, right. Well, anyway, welcome all. We've got 8 people watching, so the other 3 people are keeping secret. So just leave a message, we'll know you are. Okay, right. So without further ado, we have got a special guest. Slightly slimmed down show, right? Because some of the technical.
Someone's on holiday.
Someone's on. I don't know. They could be. So anyway, let's welcome our guest tonight. Is Robin Savage. Welcome back, Robin. He's here. Hello, Robin. I'll try and make it a bit special for you. Do you know anyone that hum the tune? Okay, right. So Robin, I hear you've been making some special videos.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot all over August and for the first part of September. Anyway, we've been working with basically it's an NGO over here in Spain that do all the kind of agricultural protections, kind of safe protections for agriculture, making more. That's the cat in the background, if you can hear it.
Videos.
Sound effects.
Yeah. But they basically the idea of the projects were that it's to promote the safe use of insects and birds and bats and stuff like that to farmers, so they don't have to rely on pesticides. And also in this area, as Jackie knows, we had a really, really, really big flood this time last year. And one of the main projects that we did in September was like basically the planting of hedgerows in the fields to stop the water if it happens again. So lots and lots of drone flying all over the Cartagena region. We've been to Mazaron, we've been to Aguilas, been to here near where we live, which is in Mar Menor, doing all sorts of stuff. And I've been a really, really good learning curve with the new Mavic 2, and it's been really good. And really, really
Who did the commentary on some of those videos? Was it Mary? I thought it was, yeah. Well, I could understand most of what she was saying.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we've been doing stuff with them for years. I mean, this is probably now into our 3rd year, I think, with ANSI. We're kind of like their go-to guys, for videos because.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you got yourself well in that door then.
Yeah. And as I say, it's been really good because it's given me like a lot of time to practice flying with it. I mean, Terry and Jackie, when we went flying, where was it, in that canyon? I was still a bit like kind of
covering yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm a lot better, so it's got there, and the results are great.
Good.
So yeah.
So have you? Because you haven't loaded any of those videos on your Pegasus web YouTube page, have you?
Not yet, no, because we give it a bit of time because they've got their own website. They're doing their own promotional stuff. So we'll give them a month for theirs.
And then you can put it on yours.
Yeah. Give them a bit of pleasure first. Perhaps we should have had an insight to it, really, but before we bring you on the show again, you could talk about it at least. And how are you getting on with the Mavic 2? You enjoyed the Mavic 2?
Yeah. I mean, the thing was, with the Phantom, I was always... I mean, it didn't really have... I mean, it had an intelligent flight modes, but I never really used them because I kind of got used to the controls really, really well with the Phantom.
Right.
I was a bit struck with the Mavic because obviously the controller is completely different. It's smaller for a start, and it all had lots of intelligent flight modes. I haven't really touched the intelligent flight mode still yet, but I've been like kind of getting used to how it flies just by manual control.
So Robin, my question is, so I'm always impressed with DJI. It seems like every generation they improve the flight controls where they're smoother and more precise and easy to operate. So I'm curious what your impression of that was coming from the Phantom to the Mavic 2.
I mean, I trust them more. I mean, like, I'm going to look. I mean, the only one I really use now is Cinematic because it makes everything just like so much smoother.
Right.
Well, I don't like that because it carries on when you stop. It's like
yeah, you got to plan it. You got to be like, all right, okay, how long is this going to fly? And definitely. But yeah, I mean, I find that I can trust it, and I want to look into it, and I want to look about what I can do. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff for sailing videos. And unfortunately, the day that I was supposed to go do another job back in the end of August, the weather got bad or something happened. I don't know. I don't think it was the weather that was bad. I think somebody cancelled or something like that. But I wanted to use the intelligent flight modes that day to like the what's called, active track or something like that. Yeah. I still want to use it because I trust it a lot more. It's just sturdy. The Mavic it plants itself exactly where it says stop. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everything else just works perfectly. I really, really enjoyed it.
What I would say is it's so precise. I mean, you can be very precise with those drones. And obviously I fly a lot of other, quite frankly, cheaper, lesser products, but I'm always impressed every time I go back to the DJI drone and how I can just put it exactly where I want it to be.
I'll take my socks off. My feet are getting up.
Jackie, try hide and seek with the camera.
Oh, wait a minute, Jackie, I'm getting really hot.
No. Terry, turn the light off first.
I didn't realise it turned into this kind of show. Absolutely, Marcus. It's so precise. I've got myself a landing pad and like it lands on it, whereas I would have had no chance of the Phantom.
Right.
I found that, Robin. I had a Phantom 3, and because I heard about this, well, they weren't called precise landing, it was GPS sort of like positioning thing. I thought, this will be good, and I was like, I'm going to take off. I didn't have a landing mat. I just had the actual box. I think I had the drone in the first place, and I took off from the box thinking it's going to land on the box. Well, it nearly landed on the box. It's only 3 foot away from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't expect to be quite so inaccurate, but you learn by your mistakes because the thing was when that did land, it actually landed sort of off-road. It was actually on a narrow road, just a bit wider than the car. And I had the box in the middle of the road, thinking, well, it can't be that far off, and it sort of landed more nearly in a ditch. So, sleep learning, don't do it again.
Did anybody see that video that we put on, I think, yesterday from Angola? When a chap was flying a Parrot, and he did it for 14.9 kilometers.
Wow!
Holy guacamole!
That's
I saw it.
Up at 375 meters or something, and it was the total flight distance 14.9 kilometers.
That's unbelievable.
Wow!
Yeah. But it was all over jungle and over a river and everything. And of course, being in Angola, I don't know what the rules are there for that.
There aren't any rules.
There's no rules, no. But it's certainly on our website anyway.
See, Lauren's saying that he had a near accident this weekend with active track. Nearly took out what is it, an I-2?
I-2?
Is it a plane, is it, or a battle or something?
I'm not sure what he means by that, but I can tell you that's what's funny that he put that, because I was just about to say how perfect that active track is. I've used it so many times. It's always been, particularly, so there's 2 speeds you can put it in. You can put it in low speed mode and high speed mode. And DJI even tells you in high speed mode, hey, it may not be completely accurate and you could crash it. They tell you that right up front. Yeah. But if you put it in low speed mode, typically it's really I mean, I've never. It just doesn't have a problem.
Exactly.
I do. Inspire too.
Oh, Inspire 2. Gotcha.
Oh, look, he's just typed it now.
Yeah. Inspire 2.
Yeah, I thought it was some sort of like aircraft or something. Wow.
Well, kind of is.
So the M2P lurched forward, and I suppose that would have been a collision, and we would have taken out an Inspire 2, which, with depending on the camera he's got on there, probably what, a $5,000 drone.
Yeah.
And then
X5 camera or something on there. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hi, Kim. Kim. We're still waiting for that video, Kim. Unless she's done it, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, hurry up, Kim. Come on.
Yeah. You said October.
I'll tell you one issue I'm having with the Mavic 2. I don't know whether it's a safety feature or whether there is actually something wrong, and I'm a bit worried about it because we kind of travelled lots of distances, with this job. Right. And also when we went up to that reservoir, Jackie Terry, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
More than 90 kilometres from the last flight. It asked me for a compass calibration.
Oh,
okay.
Every time. More than 90 kilometres. It's this compass error. Recalibrate the compass.
Mine does that every time, Robin, and I find it when we went down to Cartagena the other day, exactly the same. I had to do a calibration.
Oh, so it's not just me then?
No, it's fine. It is absolutely fine.
Oh.
And probably. Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie.
I haven't had to calibrate mine at all.
I suspect it probably also has to do with how much iron ore happens to be in the ground, etc., and magnetic interference. I'm quite sure probably plays into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At some random times, and I think it's normally, but I've been sort of trying to update the thing indoors, and it comes up with a compass error, and it's because there's so much you've got like metal this and metal that in the house.
Steve,
and the compass thing goes.
Who does the compass calibration indoors? Honestly, who does that?
No, compass, not the compass calibration, the updates. That's where my computer is, that's where my Wi-Fi is.
Gotcha.
I'm like going to the local parks and do the update. Excuse me, you got 4G on your phone, you got to update.
Because you're too close to your vehicle. Whoa.
That makes sense.
Oh, metal. Yeah. Metal.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is that.
Hey, unless I'm in the Corvette and it's got a composite body, so.
Yeah.
Composite body. I want plastic.
Yeah.
The only time I did it was when we were at the lighthouse and there was a metal bench and I tried to take off next to the metal bench. I didn't know the bench was metal because it's covered in concrete.
That's not my favourite area at all.
But I always have to calibrate my compass there. Always.
That's to calibrate when you change location. I must admit, I've changed location several times in a day, and it hasn't asked to any sort of compass calibration.
I only do it if it asks me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jackie. I only do it if the drone asks.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. With the Mavic 2 there, it's only when it says you require to calibrate the compass. I wouldn't do it the other time.
Right.
Marcus Lawrence asked you a question there. How did the race finish this weekend?
Well,
winner.
So, I lost in the very next round. I won the first round. And the thing is, it was really satisfying, though, because I won a race against a woman that is really one of the top drivers out there. So it was satisfying in that regard. But the very next round, I lost. But moreover, our team, I'm just looking at the points totals right now, and we were very close to winning the championship, but we didn't. And we ended up over in third place overall for the championship. But you know what? It was a fun year. So third place out of, let me see, about 12 teams. So that's pretty good, I guess. We're in the top 25%. So the other thing that is, I know this is going off the drone subject, but the class that my team races in, because we're all in Corvettes, we're all in a very competitive class. They put us in class 2, which is the faster cars and the more experienced drivers. Some of the other teams are in lower classes that we compete with, so they're not competing against such competitive cars, so it's easier for them to get more points. And that's just an aside, but it's fun. That's all I'm telling you.
But this is Sarah's car, isn't it? I mean, how does she feel about you racing her car?
She never gets to drive it. It's really
I know,
weird.
you buy it for a gift for her, and
You buy an expensive shopping trolley, and then you race around.
Yeah.
Poor Sarah, who gets a look in.
He gave her a drone in replacement. She's got a drone, hasn't she, Marcus?
Yeah.
Drones, yeah.
She owns a bunch of drones. Yeah. She never flies them.
Oh.
You can't really one drone unless you change the location is over 30 to 50 miles. You should have to recalibrate.
Yeah,
I agree with that as well, but most of the places we're going, we're 40 or 50 miles from the last location.
Yeah.
We're always traveling, so our locations are that type of distance apart.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird because the Fasten never did it. We went all over the place, all over Murcia, and never ever got a compass message. And obviously, with Jackie's.
And certainly, it's only the Mavic 2.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Marcus, I'm talking about calibrations. Marcus, I've seen you doing calibrations on your videos.
Wait a minute, somebody's at the door. Hang on a second.
It's the cat. What's going on? And what I've noticed, you know, when you do calibrations, it asks you to do like a vertical and a horizontal. Yeah. Now, what I've seen you do it, you get the drone, you're sort of turning it around. You're rotating drone.
¿A qué hora solís pasarlo para no
Mute, Robin, mute.
Just
one thing I noticed. One thing I noticed is that I always just do this. Say, right, you do your drone this way and then this way. And I found the easiest way is if you hold the drone still and you actually move. So
That's
you hold
what I do.
and just you spin around 3 times and then you turn the drone that way and you spin around 3 times and it works.
Yeah.
Steve,
it works.
Stop right there. I'm 64 years old. What do you think will happen to me if I spin around like that? Dude, I'm not going to get that embarrassed on video.
We'll just cut it out of the video.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to do this stupid dance now, so I'm going to cut the video.
Hold it. Let's ask Terry. Terry, how do you do it?
Well, I actually do spin the body round, but I have about 4 people waiting to catch me.
To catch it, yes.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you lot?
Hold it and turn round with it. And generally, I only have to do 1 circle. Then turn
I thought you had to keep the drone exactly where it was. So if you're turning around with it,
if you just hold the drone, if you hold it that way, and you turn your whole body, it's the same difference.
You know that game where you put your head on a broomstick and go round it?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's what you've got to do with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep it on the
same. With me. I get you, Jackie, next time to stand there, and I'll put my head on top of yours. You just hold it there and do your circle.
So basically, you're just going to put it on my head and get me to spin round, yeah?
That's not good.
Now, Marcus is just doing it to demonstrate exactly what we're talking about. Marcus, you can do it in your chair.
All this, yeah, that's it. Just take your office chair with you and spin on the chair.
Well, you could, but what's wrong with doing this and then doing this? What's the matter with that?
Because it's not smooth, is it?
It's like every time I get a cup for Sarah, I've got all the propellers out and everything like that.
You know, I've never thought about that. I always did the dance.
Oh, well, yeah.
No, I did the first time I did it.
Oh, he's just showing off now.
It wouldn't work properly. I tried that a few times and I thought, I've had enough of this. So I said, no, don't
You've
move.
done that a few times.
You move.
Yeah, but Robin has the motors running as well.
Oh, geez. Yeah. No, hold it out like this.
Hey, Robin, there's a better idea.
That's why he has
If
the
you
pole.
just yard the drone round in a circle.
Yeah,
Then put the drone down on his head.
get it there eventually, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably cut your fingers off, but apart from that, it'll be all right.
Did you see what Hot Rod in Daytona said?
Yeah, use a
Use a
pottery.
pottery table.
There you go.
That's a good idea as well.
I'll be a bit
Remember,
fast.
next time we go flying, calibrate, reach into your backpack and take out your pottery table and put it on the put your drone on it. Job done. What did Kim say? Kim does it for the exercise. Well done. Gee, I'm with you, Kim. There we are. It shows us the fit people around here.
Yeah, the fit people hold the drone still and run round it, don't they?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a fat guy, but trust me, I do 10,000 steps a day. I walk 4 to 5 miles a day. So, you know.
I'm not playing nothing.
Your drone yet? Your foot?
No, I ordered it from Banggood and I didn't realise how long it was going to take. It's going to arrive on the 21st, so I've still got best part of 3 weeks till I get it.
Why don't you try the Spanish racing team, because they've got the DJI store and they sell all the parts. And they're in Madrid and you get it the following day.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wish I'd done that now.
There we are, Jackie.
Didn't tell me that at the time.
I recommended them to you. And
Oh, it's no good if you don't text it to me because I forget, don't I? Can't just tell me.
There's a suggestion for you, Mark.
My fault again.
Yeah.
There we are, Mark. Was this? Having said that, I think I walked about 50 miles to do my last video. Wow.
When are you releasing it, Kim?
Yeah, Kim, come on. We want to watch the video. Remember, we're going to feature you. We'll feature on here and everything for you. We'll big it up big time. Promise. We will. So anyway, so Terry and Marcus are going to talk to us a little bit about the update of the. Well, all right, Marcus said.
I think getting that wrong.
Let me get it here.
Right, so
I'm sure Terry's got his right at hand.
I'll take it.
I've not touched it yet because I don't have the Mavic 2.
Smart.
Robin, you haven't you haven't got a smart controller yet, no?
No, we've got a big iPad and it just works fine. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what the advantage of this is that it's so much brighter. And I'll give you a prime example. The last flight, I took it out and I flew both the Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic 2 with it. And I was out at the Snake River Canyon. And there is it's much like Spain, I'm sure. There's no shade out there. And it was a warm day. It was about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, very, very, very hot. In fact, it was hot enough that I was using both my Osmo Action and GoPro Hero 8, and they both shut down from the heat. They would only go so long and they would shut off because there was no breeze or anything to keep them cool. But this guy in the bright sunlight, no issues at all seeing the FPV screen. And let me tell you, for me, that is worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Maricel's really interested in them because we really want the dual controller setup. And it's for her, it'd be amazing.
Oh, yes.
Right there. And, because the only other alternative would be for me to fly with a phone or buy another iPad, and I think the safety is in buying.
In all honesty, Robin, you could, as a cheaper alternative, because, the smart controller retails for about 500 odd.
500.
Yeah. So, the cheaper option, if you want a cheaper option and get a similar result, would be to get a second-hand Crystal Sky. Because technically, that monitor is a Crystal Sky monitor.
Yeah.
Here's the issue I have with that, Steve. Number one, I'm not sure that it would work with the Mavic 2, but DJI is no longer supporting that, and it's basically the Crystal Sky is an Android tablet.
Yeah, that's the downside.
And it's at least 4 years. Well, it's at least 4 years old now, and the monitor itself is beautiful. It's
the same monitors in that smart controller, exactly the same.
Well, you can go one better with the Crystal Sky. This one is good for 200 nits. If you get that Crystal Sky Ultra Bright or whatever they call it, it's 200 nits, so it's even brighter yet.
Mm-hmm.
The issue that you're going to have is I think you're okay if you're flying an older Mavic with it, but I'm telling you, as we move forward, I suspect it'll become more problematic.
Yeah,
Lauren will probably talk about that, but.
I mean, I've used the Crystal Sky with the Mavic 2 Zoom, Terry's old drone. I mean, and it works fine. Absolutely fine.
Did it? Good.
Yeah, absolutely fine. You know, I mean, the thing is, because I've actually got, a Crystal Sky, and I love it to bits. You know, I'll never part with the thing. Was it? I'm gonna.
My wife gave me a note.
And I can't remember. And a chicken what? A chicken wrap.
Chicken wrap and carrots in the fridge. Oh no, Marcus has got to get his own lunch.
Oh no.
I read that first. I'm getting a haircut, and I thought, why are you holding that up?
Well, I'm just thinking, is it still Sunday? A haircut on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sunday, isn't it? Where you are?
It's Sunday, but this is the U.S. 7 days a week,
24/7.
Yeah.
But Marisol was quite impressed, Terry, actually, with your monitor setup the last time we met, and
yes,
when you put it into kind of perspective, if we were to buy a new controller, which is like €350, plus a clip, plus another tablet or something like that, then it's going to be put in the same kind of price range, maybe more.
Yeah.
Buying an actual smart controller.
Do you know the weird thing? I can't believe how much these second-hand controllers actually sell for, because I must have got lucky, because a long while ago, I think when the smart controller first came out, everyone was trying to think, well, they got these Mavic controllers, and I don't want it. It's no good to me. I've got a smart controller, and people were selling it for about 150, 200 pounds, and yet I managed to find one for less than 50 quid. I must have got really lucky.
It's incredible.
I looked at it for myself. How much? When I sort of look at how much are these selling for? 150. Wow, I can get 150 quid for this. It's just a controller, but I want to keep it because I'm sort of in the process of rebuilding another Mavic 2. It's taken a long while, and we'll get there eventually. It's actually a cut and shut.
It's becoming an obsession, isn't it? Rebuilding Mavic.
That's incredible.
It's a challenge. I'll tell you what, building a Mavic 2 Zoom camera, and when I say rebuilding, I mean, if you imagine the whole camera and gimbal and all the little motors on there, all in bits, and that's what I'm rebuilding from scratch.
Marcus fancies that.
You're a braver man than me.
If it ever works, I think I'll tell you what, I'm going to crack open a bottle of champagne. I mean, you've got a motor that obviously turns the camera, left and right, or sort of, and then you've got another motor that actually moves the camera sort of in another direction, and then you've got another little motor which controls the focus. It's really complicated. And these little ribbon cables, and oh my God, they're a nightmare. But it's fun.
A man of your calibre.
Well, I rebuilt most of it, and then realised that one of the bits I've used, one of the bits of ribbon cable snapped off. I won't repeat exactly what I said, but they wasn't pleasant words, I can assure you. I just went,
the
Oh dear, I'll put this away for now. Oh dear. But we'll see. I mean, what I didn't realise is this carcass of actually a Mavic 2 Pro that I bought, which was cameraless, and some of the circuit boards are missing out of it. There was no bottom to it. It still had a top, no battery. Apart from that, like, if you put the battery in, the props will go whip, because obviously the actual that part of it's still intact. It's about the only bit it is, but it's brand new. It's never been flown. It won't fly at the moment. That's the devil. Because
Wow.
it's like an Airfix kit for detail. But you see, with me in my old age, I always like to challenge, and this is certainly a challenge. So there we are.
And I think that's wonderful, Steve. I mean, that is really impressive. All kidding aside, we joke around a lot, but I'm telling you, that is impressive. And
I was really impressed that you got it flying. The Terry's old one.
I mean, I'll tell you, Terry's old one, in comparison with the one I'm working on now, it was a walk in the park. It really was.
God, there's me stressing about replacing this leg that's.
On Terry's old drone, both the front legs had actually really sort of been smashed to bits. The problem with the Mavic 2, it's got little lights on there. In order to replace the leg on it, it's a nightmare. It's a real nightmare. So I thought, better of it, I just repaired them. And hopefully they're going to be okay. I mean, reinforced it with like a two-part, like, epoxy resin, as it were, to seal them down. Now, if they go up, they'll have to be replaced. But they seem okay. I'm not getting. I mean, Jackie, you're getting this gimbal. What is it?
Abnormal gimbal vibration.
Yeah.
The only thing that appears to be damaged on the drone is that broken landing leg.
So, Jackie, let me ask you: did you recalibrate your gimbal and everything? Just out of curiosity.
I did what did I do?
IMU?
Yeah, I did
IMU.
No, I didn't do that one. I did the gimbal calibration.
I would do a full recalibration of the drone.
Yeah.
Everything. And the other thing is check your props, because if you have a prop that's a little bit wonky,
what I've done is I've replaced all the props with the spare set that came with it. So I've got brand new props on it. I'm going to put the new leg on it when it arrives, and then I'll do the calibrations, and then hopefully all the problems will be fixed.
Where did you buy it from, Jackie?
I can hear my door going.
I got it from DJI or Amazon. I'm not sure. I can't remember now.
Because I had problems with my Platinum, which I bought from Amazon, and I couldn't fix it. It was more or less the same as you've got.
Yeah.
And it just couldn't be fixed. Spoke to Amazon about it, and they said, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Do you want your money back?
Oh, wow.
So I got, I don't know, it was about £1,300 back.
Yeah, but yours wasn't the result of crashing it, was it, though?
No, we're almost there. There's a problem, and you can't resolve it.
I can't get away with that.
Get the leg back on and say it's broken and get your money back.
Yeah.
You saw what Lauren said there. He is suggesting to reinstall firmware.
Okay, well, if they'll do everything, then it'll be.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll fix it.
Yeah.
It's not something I'll come across. I mean, well, I did when you mentioned it. I think a couple of weeks ago, I sort of googled it and to see what other people were saying, because that's what you do.
Yeah, and a lot of them were saying.
They said about the props. One guy said about the screws had come loose in the gimbal, but of course it wasn't that, because I asked you that question whether the gimbal was
looks fine.
The gimbal was mounted in place, and you sent me some photographs, and I couldn't see anything wrong with it. So,
well, put it this way:
you like the issue.
If it doesn't resolve the issue when I've got the new leg and the new props and the calibrations, I'm going to see Robin. He's going to fix it.
Well, Robin,
I just don't understand how it happened, because I was thinking about this. And the Platinum, it's got a lot of sensors. It's got a lot of kind of redundancy sensors. So even if it was at 9 satellites, you'd have the Mavic would be referencing its altitude from the bottom sensors, and does it have front sensors as well and side?
No,
Yeah. Doesn't have
Platinum
side.
does not have side sensors now.
just got front and bottom.
Front
So you'll
bottom.
have- So you'll have a reference, and I think
Well, I watched the flight logs, and you can see as I'm flying through the little ravine,
Probably
it starts at 16, I think, and then it goes down to 9, like I say, and then it flashes up with this warning saying weak GPS or something.
see, yeah.
And then the drone, it was going forwards, and then it seemed to just drift sideways, but its back end hit the cliff, and
Yeah.
then it tumbled down.
did it actually crash into the ground, or
Yeah,
it did.
yeah, but only from about I don't know, 6 foot up or something.
So nothing major.
But obviously, it landed on that front leg and broke its foot. So
So it went into ADI mode, and that's why it went sideways. Yeah.
I'll
I
tell you
don't
the
know.
Jackie.
It says GPS, but it just said then weak GPS. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I think
Me and Harvey, we thought it was the wind at first.
I think he's under 9 satellites. I mean, they do say to you, look, obviously you need, the more satellites you've got, the more control of
Okay,
GPS you've got. And I think we get down to 9 on the Mavic, it's worrying. On the Phantom, 9 is probably a good day. I'm not sure if you flew around, Robin, when you flew.
Yeah, I used to fly with. Well, the average was about 12 or 13.
Oh, right, okay.
But used to fly 8, and it used to kind of hold its place.
If I remember rightly with Phantom, I think anything under is either 6 or 7 was a bit worrying.
Yeah.
Well, I've not really kept an eye on satellites, but I will be from now on.
I do, Jackie. I must admit, there's one thing that is weird, actually. It's one of these things that I actually do look and think to myself, how many satellites?
I check it at the start, and then you just think, well, I've got whatever, and you don't think it's going to change, do you?
Where's we had a
When
conversation?
when I was flying with my Pixel, my home-built one,
Yeah.
it was recommended by the manufacturer of the GPS module not to fly under 11 satellites.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a completely different drone, but that's why I'm a bit surprised that happened.
Yeah.
The redundancy that the Mavic has to be able to keep it in the air and keep it level, because it's got a lot of smart systems on it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not.
But how far was you away from how far away from the cliff was you then, Jackie? Was you quite close to it anyway? Or?
It's the width of a single track road, and the cliffs are just either side of it.
Right.
So it's not very wide.
And it's not very high. But the other thing to consider, Jackie, right in front of you,
Yeah.
about a mile away, was that huge radio tower. And there's loads and loads of radar around there as well.
Yeah,
That might-
maybe.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, several things. I mean, I have made a little film, but I haven't finished it yet because right at the end I want to show it working and repaired. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed. But I'll bring it out when I've fixed it. So
Well, I'm just thinking, Jackie, that you're going. I mean, you might want to order a spare one. Because I mean, no,
always useful to have a few legs lying around, isn't it?
buy a whole new drone, you can go and cut and shut it. Oh, anyway, Luke is on. He's saying sorry it's a bit late. He's been doing his A2 license whilst the kids are driving me crazy. Well, good luck with that, Luke. So yeah, Luke said we're going to go and fly on one of these days. You never know. What's Lauren saying? Jackie, you need to fly in the trees and canyons like I do. You're always watching the satellite account.
I will be from now on.
Well, that's a good lesson for all.
Well,
that's it. I mean, we're always learning stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I don't pay much attention to that satellite count either, and it's pretty clear that it's probably something we should be doing, huh?
Yeah. If you're going anywhere where it's not quite out in the open.
Well, the reason I was asking you about the layout of this where you flying, Jackie, because you got to bear in mind that satellites, the signal of a satellite only goes in straight lines. It can't go around corners.
Right. Well, I don't know where the satellite was because I
So
couldn't see it.
if you think that your drone, well, they're up there. From up yeah. Double well.
I just assumed it was straight above me, but
There's one.
yeah.
The point is, if the beam is only a straight line, okay, and your drone goes down below it, it automatically will cut that beam off. So that's one satellite lost. So the more you go over to in the shade, so to speak, you're blocking satellite signals off.
But how do we know where the satellites are? This is the question.
Keep the drone up in the air.
Yeah, half blue there, no problem.
The weird thing
I'm
about
not going near any canyons again.
satellite signals are very small signals. They're only about 45 watts each, and it just amazes me that actually get as far as planet Earth anyway. But anyway.
I'll tell you what, though, going back to my little old Spark that I used to kind of crash frequently.
We all live in the
I'll tell you what, those Sparks, they're pretty robust because I never had any issues with that.
Oh yeah.
I used to smack it into all sorts of things and pick it up and fly it. But this Mavic, it's a bit more delicate, isn't it, with its wobbly gimbal? And
They are a bit delicate. Yeah,
I think my ideal drone would be an OcuSynced Spark. That would suit me.
You know what you need, Jackie, and all kidding aside, a Mavic Air 2. I'm telling you, it would do everything you want to do, and it is a very robust, easy to fly drone, very precise. I'm just telling you, it is. The Mavic Air 2 is the best value in drones. Period.
€700. They're really good.
What problem did you have, Marcus, though, with the smart controller and the Air 2?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that was interesting. So I followed a lot of advice. Obviously, I did it after a number of others had done it. So one of the first things that you want to do is you want to set the controller so that it stays powered on. You know, it automatically will shut down after when it's idle for, I don't know, a second, 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. Go into settings, and I maxed it out to 30 minutes. So in other words, I could get through the whole update process without it shutting down. Number one.
Yeah.
So I also use the DJI. Oh God, what do they call the software? DJI Assistant 2 software. You plug it in, and it recognizes that it's the smart controller immediately. It downloads the software. It sends it to the remote. The update process is just really, literally, fully automatic, and all of that went very smooth. Took me from start to finish less than a half an hour, and that is even binding it to the drone. Now, the issue came when I went out on my first flight, and I took it out with a Mavic Air 2, and the FPV kept freezing up on it. I would take off and fly, and the screen would just lock. And I still had control of the drone. I still had telemetry, so I could see where the drone was and where it was going. I still had control of the drone, so but
the image was frozen.
The image was frozen, and then it would catch up, and I'd get little bits and spots. So a couple days later, I thought, well, is it just the Fly app that didn't load correctly, and will it work okay with the Mavic 2 Zoom with the Go 4 app?
Yeah.
So I took both the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mavic Air 2 out with it, and the Mavic 2 Zoom, the Go 4 app would crash. I'd have it up for a second, and the app would just crash. Now, again, I still had control of the drone. I never lost control of the drone ever. It was the controller always was locked onto the drone. And you could refire the app, and it would come back up. And so I tried the Mavic Air 2 again, and then had exactly the same issue of the FPV problem. So my next step then, I thought, would be I would reset the controller do a full factory reset on it, which you can do within the settings, right? Factory reset. So I did that, and then I went through the firmware update process again. Again, it went very smoothly, no issues at all. Took it out, and it worked fine.
And it didn't play up again.
Yeah, no, it's working great on both drones. It's working just fine. So Terry, I would recommend. The first thing I would do would be to do a factory reset on the controller before you do the update. I mean, you might be fine anyway. What the heck do I know?
I've got to buy the drone yet.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what cured my issue.
Yeah, but I'll come back to you on that one, Marcus.
Yeah,
we seem to have lost Steve.
Yeah, where's he gone?
What happened to Steve?
His cell phone battery.
He was sat there dead still, wasn't he? For a very long time.
He's in Rome. Is he doing it off his phone or his iPad?
No, he's borrowed his brother-in-law's MacBook.
No.
Taking it to Rhodes.
Yeah, but he didn't have an internet connection, so he was, I think, tethered to a mobile device.
Oh, right. Wi-Fi. Right.
So there could be a number of things that happened. Right?
Oh, God, I don't like it when he leaves. I get scared. What are we supposed to do?
How are we going to end the show? How are we going to know when it's Terry's joke time?
I don't know. Exactly. It's Terry's joke time.
No,
it's Terry's joke time now.
Steve said I didn't have to do it this week.
Yeah, you do. There's no get outs.
Oh, no weeks off, Terry. What the heck?
I mean, Jesus, we don't even let Steve have a holiday. We make him take his laptop with him.
Yeah, so you think you're going to get out of telling us a joke?
No chance.
Well, I was trying, but I don't know whether I ought to because the poor man's in hospital at the moment.
Oh, that's no.
Yes, tell us. You've got to tell us it now. You've led yourself into this.
Well, at this present time?
Yeah, come on.
It's 10 till. It's 10.
Then I need my intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Terry's joke time.
Very good.
President Trump walking out of the White House when an armed assassin goes running towards him, pulls out his gun, and starts to load as though he's going to shoot the president. Now, there's a newly appointed Secret Service agent, and he sees this happening, and he's in a panic. He doesn't know what to do, and he shouts out, "Mickey Mouse! Mickey Mouse!" And everybody's going, "What?" And the assassin went, "What?" And they grabbed him, took him away, and that was it. Anyway, after all of these sort of incidents, you get a debrief. So they go into the office, have the debrief, and the supervisor says to him, "Mickey Mouse?" He said, "What on earth were you thinking of? That is just not standard operating procedures. Mickey Mouse." He said, "I'm so sorry," he says. "I was so nervous. I just didn't know what was happening. And actually, I really meant to shout out, Donald!
Donald Duck!"
Donald Duck!
I told you it's going to get cornier by the week.
Yeah.
Very good.
I had it out. That took me just under a minute, I think.
Well done. Right, I'm going to message Steve, see where he's gone.
Yeah, and Lauren just sent me a video about flying in close quarters, but Lauren, we cannot show it because Steve has got control, and he's actually on a laptop. He doesn't have his regular
stuff. Kim's asking, have we all tested the speed of our drones?
I have.
I had mine up to, I think it was 41 kilometers. And
was that when the battery fell out?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I've had mine up to my Mavic 2 Zoom. I've had it up to 45 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got pretty fast the other day. I didn't take it into sport mode, but when we were doing these massive long strips of hedgerows, we were flying them. And some of these are like Well, some of them, how long? 5 kilometers long?
No, wait, that was
2 kilometers long. We didn't actually fly the whole lot, but we flew quite a long way, you know, maybe 800 meters or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and to get back, I hammered it, you know, but that wasn't very quick, you know.
Yeah.
And it was, I wasn't too worried because it was quite a cloudy day over in Madaran one day. So I
Super hot like the day we had, yeah.
didn't even have the battery strap on.
You didn't.
Oh, getting brave.
Well, what's fun is when you watch the drone, if you've got it in sport mode and you have it in high speed mode, boy, the angle that drone is tipped up to
Yeah.
get that speed
Wow,
is
isn't it? Oh.
cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does look good, doesn't it? And then I love the Doppler effect just before it crashes.
Right. Just before it crashes. Yeah. You guys see what Lauren is doing here? He's saying Lauren has said he had a tailwind and he had his up to 61 miles an hour.
61. Wow.
You know, he lives in Canada up in Alberta and they get the winds, man.
Yeah. We've had terrible, terrible winds over the last couple of days.
Yeah. It's been
We had
unbelievable.
to take our gazebo roof off.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad.
Yeah, I wanted to have a fly this weekend, but no chance.
Brian is asking about the Air 2.
We had a dog.
I saw that. Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, I saw that online. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Dust.
Only I was outside taking photos of it and not shutting my doors and windows.
You were dusting.
2 days cleaning up afterwards.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I want to answer Brian's question here. He's asking about the top speed of the Air 2, and I've had mine up to about 41 miles an hour, Brian.
Cool.
It's quite bad.
Yeah. Fast enough.
Keep me up, Robin.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I was just but, you know, yeah. I had band practice earlier as well.
So Kim is mentioning the Inspire 2, and my friend Billy Kyle got my attention one day. He was telling me that his Inspire 2 will go over 60 miles an hour, which
I believe that. Yeah.
Man, oh man, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
I've seen some videos where they're doing like car commercials with the Inspire, and it's phenomenal. It really is. You know, performing the intelligent flight modes whilst traveling at something like, I don't know, 40 or 50 miles an hour. It's incredible, you know,
doing an orbit around the car or whatever. Yeah.
Really something else, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. The Inspire 2 though, it only has the what's the previous Wi-Fi system that they used? I can't think of it. Lightbridge, that's correct. And Lightbridge is not as robust as OcuSync 2. So my understanding is you don't. I've never flown one, so I don't have that experience. But I understand that you don't have near the range with the Inspire. And of course now DJI has discontinued that product. So
they discontinued the Inspire.
They have, yeah.
Really? Well, what was it? A couple of months ago when I was on here, and we were talking about where does the Inspire fit into the market these days, and with the Mavic getting better and better and better, and obviously having the same features with the dual controller, you know, in a smaller package.
Robin, you're on to something. I think I'll tell you. Hey, there he is. So I'll bet you what we see, Robin, when there is a Mavic 3, I'll bet you we'll see a consumer version and a professional version.
Yeah.
I'll bet you of that drone. So, you know, if I'm a vet fan.
Steve, there's someone behind you.
Hola, amigo.
So we're having all sorts of technical problems.
Yeah, no,
we're on I'm trying to use an iPad now, and it's not working very well. So.
Oh well, you missed the joke.
You're upside down.
I thought he was in Rhodes, not Australia.
I'm upside down.
No, you're all right now. Oh, you're going bald.
No, we don't want to see that.
Hang on.
No, Marcus, I can completely agree with you. Some of the people have made with the
Carol talking about yourself,
like the fire and stuff like that. Yeah, I can see that.
He hasn't got his pajamas on, Jackie.
No.
Hey, so Robin, what would you think? I mean, I would guess that they'll go that it'll either have the professional version. I'll bet you will either have interchangeable lenses, or maybe even interchangeable cameras, or maybe both. Right?
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I mean, that's it. I mean, like photographers and videographers, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that flexibility. And obviously, with the Mavic 2 Pro and the Zoom, it got a little bit of a taste of that flexibility. Obviously, with the Zoom, you can do a certain amount of different shots without having to do it in post. And with the Pro, again, you've got that large sensor, that large space, again, which you can have extra effects in post. But, you know, as a photographer, something that has interchangeable lenses is always better than trying to do something in post-production. You know, so
Right.
if they do go down that road, you know, A, it appeals to photographers and videographers, and also B, it opens up a whole new market as well for DJI to cash in. You know,
Right.
like, okay, here's the standard. It comes with this lens, and this lens. But for €300 or $300 more, you can buy this lens. You know, and you know, I think it makes financial sense for them to do something like that.
Yeah.
And good for the consumer as well.
Hey, Robin, I got one for you here, and in fact, I've got a video coming out on it. Well, and this was a challenge for me. Freewell sent me an anamorphic lens for the Mavic Air 2. So I put it on there, and I took it out to the canyon. And my concern then was in post production being able to de-squeeze it. But I got it done, and it actually looks pretty cool.
Nice.
Now the focus, I'm sure there's enough distortion in that lens. It's a much softer focus. It isn't as sharp as the regular lens, but it's still pretty cool. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I like the effects that you get. I've seen some effects in post about anamorphics and stuff like that, and I have seen quite a few on like third-party sites for various DJI drones and stuff like that, and I'm always quite curious to try one out. Actually,
let me check. This lens is kind of interesting. So it just goes on just like an ND filter. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, and I'm going to try and hold it up so you can see it. But if you look at it from the side there, you can see it's well, let me get it here. See, it's concave.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does that do then? What does that make the image do?
The top line focus, out of focus, bottom line out of focus, and the middle in focus.
Ah, right. Okay.
And so, Jackie, what in the 1950s, in order to compete with TV, movies, that's when they came out with that big cinema wide format, the big wide screen.
Yeah.
That's what an anamorphic lens does for you. It just widens everything out. Now, if you don't de-squeeze it in post-processing, everything looks squished.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, the opposite. Excuse me.
Oh no, it looks
You're actually stretched out.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
I bet there's somebody who writes plugins for that as well, because obviously with the Mavic 2 Pro, when you're using it on 10-bit, it actually gets there's no correction of the distortion from the lens.
Right.
You have a plugin to prevent that in post. So I bet there's some guys writing various plugins to be able to fix that.
Oh, I'm quite sure. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I used Magic's Movie Edit Pro, and I just went in and there's a distortion app, and I just corrected that ratio, and it worked. I was like, hey, okay, it looked good then, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to see the video once you
Yeah.
done it. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be really interested in seeing that.
I'll
I
have
don't know
that
if you
out
can hear me
too.
okay, but I'm on an iPad now, so the signal's not very good. But anyway, Terry, I think we should do your joke first, do you?
No,
We've done it. You missed it.
You missed it.
Oh no!
You're gonna have to watch it on replay, Steve.
Hang on.
Too late for it.
Never mind. We'll be back. Hopefully, we'll be back to normal next week, and I'll have I'll be in front of a computer instead of a. Right, but all right. Well,
But we got to say, Steve, you're brilliant for doing it from Rhodes anyway.
Absolutely.
We love your dedication.
Absolutely.
You're the best.
Look, you can always come and jump in his pool in there. Look, there's a nice pool there for you. Look.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Oh, it's animal.
It's very cold. It's my brother-in-law.
Hello, brother-in-law. Thanks for lending him your laptop.
And Haley's over there somewhere, so she's feeding the cats. She's feeding the cats. You know, she's feeding the cats. She's got to tell you about feeding the cats. But anyway, well, back to normal next week, hopefully. So thanks, guys, for taking over and looking after. And you have to tell me a joke next week, Terry, when I do have to again, all right?
All right, then, yeah. I'll tell two.
And yeah, now, whether the titles are going to roll or not, we don't know. But we'll find out anyway. Until next week, see you then. Take care.
Good
Bye,
night,
guys.
all.
Bye.
It's not going to work.
It worked. It worked. Press play.
Let's go.
It worked.